Some Press Opinions by Jonathan Swift. An adequate edition of Swift, the whole of Swift and nothing but Swift, has long been one of the pressing needs of students of English literature. Mr. Temple Scott, who is preparing the new edition of Swift's prose works, has begun well. His first volume is marked by care and knowledge. He has scrupulously collated his texts with the first or the best early editions, and has given various readings in the footnotes. Mr. Temple Scott may well be congratulated on his skill and judgment as a commentator. He has undoubtedly earned the gratitude of all admirers of our greatest satirist, and all students of vigorous, masculine, and exact English. Athenum. The volume is an agreeable one to hold and to refer to, and the notes and apparatus are on the whole exact. A cheap and handy reprint which we can conscientiously recommend. Saturday Review. From the specimen now before us, we may safely predict that Mr. Temple Scott will easily distance both Roscoe and Scott. He deserves the gratitude of all lovers of literature for enabling Swift again to make his bow to the world in so satisfactory and complete a garb. Manchester Guardian. Mr. Temple Scott's introductions and notes are excellent in all respects, and this edition of Swift is likely to be one most acceptable to scholars. Notes and queries. The new Bones Library edition of the prose works of Jonathan Swift is a venture which proves itself the more welcome as each installment is issued. This edition is likely long to remain the standard edition. Literary World. Bones Libraries need no push, and the magnificent edition of the prose works of Jonathan Swift, edited by Mr. Temple Scott, is in every respect worthy of that great collection of classics. It is an ideal edition, edited by an ideal editor, beautifully printed, handsomely bound, and ridiculously cheap. I have no hesitation in saying that this edition supersedes all its forerunners. Star. We have nothing but praise for the editing, annotating, printing, and general production. Indeed, now that the set has advanced so far, we can safely pronounce the opinion that all other editions of Swift must give place to it, and that no serious student of the politics of the 18th century can afford to be without these volumes. A superb edition. Irish Times. Edited with exhaustive care and produced in excellent style, this is not only the best, it is the only edition of Swift. Pall Mall Gazette. There could hardly be a more acceptable addition to Bones' standard library than a new edition of Swift's prose works. The text is well printed, and the volume is of convenient size. The edition deserves to be popular, since Swift is a writer who will always be read, while this edition will bring him within reach of a number of new readers. Scotsman. The time is now ripe for a definite edition. This, of which the first volume lies before us, promises to fulfill all the conditions of a scholarly and satisfying work. The edition is a genuine gain to English literature. Birmingham Post. The publishers of Bones Libraries will earn the thanks of a wide circle of readers by their undertaking to produce a popular and collected edition of the prose works of Swift. So far as one may judge from a first installment, the present edition seems to fulfill the requirements of popularity and accuracy as well as could be desired. The edition promises to be one of the most valuable and welcome items in those classic libraries, which have done so much to bring good literature in worthy form within the reach of the British public. Glasgow Herald. We are indebted to the proprietors of the Bone Libraries for various literary enterprises, but it is questionable indeed if they have issued lately a work more acceptable, or likely to become more popular, than the prose works of Jonathan Swift. No better edition of it could be desired. Mr. Temple Scott is editing the volumes with the greatest care. Belfast Newsletter. No more welcome reprint has appeared for some time past than the new edition, complete and exact so far as it was possible to make it, of Swift's Journal to Stella. Morning Post. By far the most satisfactory text yet printed of the wonderful Journal to Stella. Newcastle Daily Chronicle. The Journal to Stella has long stood in need of editing, far more than any other of Swift's works. It abounds in references to persons great and small, to political and social occurrence, to ephemeral publications, and to identify and explain all these demands an editor steeped in the history, literature, broadsides and press news of the time of the Harley administration. Mr. Ryland's present edition will satisfy all but the few who dream of an ideal. Athenum. The immortal Journal to Stella, one of the works most indispensable to a knowledge of the life and literature of the early part of the 18th century. We know of no shape in which the journal is published so convenient for perusal as this. The notes are short and serviceable, and there is a full index. Notes and queries. At last we have a well-printed, carefully edited text of Swift's famous journal in a single, handy and cheap volume. The present edition will, we hope, encourage many timid souls, who have been awed by the formidable array of Scott, Sheridan or Hawkesworth's editions, to make the acquaintance of the most interesting, charming and tender journal that ever man kept for a woman's eye. St. James's Gazette. Mr. Dennis is quite justified in his boast of now first giving us a complete and trustworthy text of Gulliver's Travels, Manchester Guardian. The number of useless reprints of Gulliver, based on Hawkesworth's untrustworthy edition and mostly expurgated besides, is so great that we owe double thanks to Mr. Dennis, since he has not shirked the trouble of collating the 5 earliest editions, and has given us again at last, as far as is possible in the present case, the complete and authentic text of the original, Prof. Max Forster in Anglia. An ideal text of Gulliver's Travels, Literary World. The best and most scholarly edition of Gulliver's Travels, University Correspondent.